Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1, the pilot of Jace Sits, the brand new podcast for 91.3 FM, RSU Radio. And as you know, streaming on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, everything under the sun. And this is episode 1. Without a doubt, it's a joyous occasion. However, it's a somber day, and I want to recognize and respect that. 1959, the day the music died, February 3rd. Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and JP, the Big Bopper Richardson, would all pass away and fly into the dead of night, traveling venue to venue. Tragically, all 3 lives were cut way too short. And today, I'm going to be speaking to the Buddy Holly Center in Lubbock, Texas. They were kind enough to talk to me about Lubbock, what it looks like now, what it looked like back when Buddy was there, and just how much Buddy meant to the town. It's a really fun conversation. This is Jace Sits. Stay tuned and subscribe.
The best seat in the house is wherever you hear Jace Sits.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the program. This is Jace Sits. It's an honor to speak with you today about one of my biggest songwriting inspirations, the legendary Buddy Holly. I'm thrilled to be joined by Jackie, the Municipal Museums Director for the City of Lubbock, Texas, which includes the Silent Wings Museum and the Buddy Holly Center. Welcome, Jackie.
Hello.
Just to start, could you tell us a little bit about the City of Lubbock and its connections to Buddy's legacy?
Sure. Well, Buddy was born and raised here in Lubbock. He was born in September of 1936. Spent his formative years here exploring his musical talents, performing many places around town and in the region. And it was from this spot that he was discovered and his career was launched. He unfortunately passed away at a young age. But the city chose several years later to honor him with a larger-than-life-size statue and a walk of fame, and they have chosen to honor people from this region who excel in the arts, in music and visual arts, theater, dance, songwriting. And so every year, the Buddy Holly and West Texas Walk of Fame honors individuals who lived and worked and went on to greater things beyond Lubbock, but their origins lie here in this region.
And with that, could you share a few highlights from the exhibits located inside of the Buddy Holly Center? What can fans expect to see when they visit?
Sure. When fans walk in to the building, they are greeted by our lovely staff. We have a small theater that shows an 18-minute documentary about Buddy's life and his career. There are interviews in there, clips of interviews from his bandmates, his family members, from people who were inspired by Buddy, like Keith Richards and Bob Dylan, Don McLean. And from there, many times our visitors will then walk into the main Buddy Holly Gallery, which houses most all of the artifacts that we have on exhibit in that space. They'll see items like Buddy's iconic glasses, his Fender Stratocaster guitar, a few other guitars that he owned, his Aerial Cyclone motorcycle we also have on display here. And then in another gallery, we have some furniture items that belong to Buddy, a bedroom suit that his parents gifted to him his senior year in high school, and then a kitchenette set, little dinette set that his parents purchased for he and Maria Elena as a wedding gift and had shipped to their apartment in Greenwich Village in New York. The center also houses the city's fine art programming. So we have a fine arts gallery in which we do changing exhibitions of contemporary visual arts. We change out those exhibits every 6 to 8 weeks. And that's what people will see. We also have on our property the J.I. Allison Boyhood home. It was a house that J.I. and his family lived in when J.I. was probably early middle school age, through the time that he got married. It is where he and Buddy and other of their music friends would hang out and practice music and write songs. It's where they wrote That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue. And so we have that house on our property, and it is part of the tour that visitors can experience when they come to the center.
There's actually a YouTube video, I believe, created by your team that gives a virtual tour of Jerry Allison's house. I thought that was a wonderful way to let everyone experience the space. Was that you guys?
That is correct, yes.
And for those that might not know, Jerry had a girlfriend named Peggy Sue, correct?
Correct, and they actually married.
Peggy Sue got married.
His first wife, and yes, they all went to school together, too.
I wanted to make sure to ask you about this. Do you see a lot of younger visitors at the center? Is Buddy Holly's legacy still alive and well in Lubbock today?
It is. There are a nice, there's a nice mix of visitors. There are older folks, of course, who grew up listening to Buddy's music. There are children of those folks and grandchildren, too. Buddy grew up here in Lubbock, and the school at which he attended around the time of his birthday in September celebrate Buddy Holly Week. So we will see during that time elementary and middle school students who will come to the center, oftentimes dressed as Buddy. The girls will come in their poodle skirts, and they will tour the museum and tell us everything that they've learned about Buddy, which is really nice. It's nice to see current generations still being able to learn about Buddy and enjoy his music and take pride in the fact that he came from Lubbock.
Now, turning to the Silent Wings Museum, what could visitors expect to experience there?
The Silent Wings Museum is quite unique. It is the only museum in the world dedicated to the World War II American glider pilot program. Where the museum is sited is actually one of our old airports. I believe it was our second airport. And during World War II, the property on which that airport was built was the site of the South Plains Army Airfield, where more than 75% of the American glider pilots who flew in operations in Europe and the Pacific did their advanced glider training. So it has a really unique tie to the program, and it's quite special that the museum is here. So the visitors to the museum will be welcomed into our newly renovated theater. They'll see a wonderful documentary about the glider program, about several of the operations that those glider pilots flew in. They'll see one of very few fully restored CG-4A gliders, and then many other items related to that program, jeeps and artillery, uniforms, flight jackets. There are some training flyers there outside of our museum. As you drive by on the interstate, you'll see a large C-47 that is on loan to us from the Marine Corps. That is the type of plane that flew, that towed the gliders up into the air before they were launched.
Yeah, no, I was looking at some pictures of that theater. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Yes. We're excited. Hopefully we'll get some new seating this year. That's our next phase of renovation. But we did put in a new video wall and made some upgrades to the documentary to include closed captioning, and it's a really stunning piece. And I think it gives visitors a really good background about the glider pilot program and the tremendous impact that program had on winning the war. Gliders flew in oftentimes behind enemy lines to deliver troops, supplies, and oftentimes they were used to extract the wounded. So it was quite a daring thing to take into combat, to fly a plane with no engine and to take on enemy fire. It's quite a stunning feat.
Hey everyone, this is Jace Bain of the Jace Sits podcast telling you that our pilot episode all about Buddy Holly is available on YouTube now. Here's the link. Well, now let's zoom out into the broader fine arts community there at Lubbock. Are there any current projects or upcoming events that you're particularly excited about and want to share with us?
There is so much going on in this city. We are now close to a 250,000 people that live here permanently. We have a large university population with Texas Tech University. We're also graced with Lubbock Christian University, South Plains College, Wayland Baptist University. So there's a lot of intellectual stimulation going on. We have fantastic medical centers here. Agriculture is a big economic engine for us in soybean production, cotton production. We have award-winning wineries here. But in addition to that, there is a lively arts community, fine artists, visual artists, music. A lot of live music is performed here. In fact, the Buddy Holly Center hosts its annual summer showcase series every summer. Every Thursday evening during the summer, we put on free concerts for the public to come and enjoy. And we try to choose artists who do a lot of original music, much in the vein of Buddy Holly. And much like Buddy, a variety of music. Buddy's musical tastes were quite varied. And so we highlight everything that we can find in this city. We have mariachi music, we have country music, we have soul and jazz and rock and indie music and something called lo-fi music, which we've explored the last couple years. And it would all have been embraced by Buddy. He was one to incorporate many different sounds and genres in his own music, a lot of different instruments that weren't really typical of the early rock scene. So we feel like we are doing something that he would be most proud of and would willingly support. Lubbock is, it used to be said that, there wasn't a lot to do in Lubbock, and that nothing can be further from the truth. There are only so many weekends in the month, and there are so many things to do. One has to pick and choose what it is that they do. We host annual art festivals here, and so many musical festivals. I think at last count there were 8 or 9 different music festivals that happen here. So it's quite a vibrant community in many ways.
And you've almost answered it for me already. However, I wanted to ask you, if you even had to begin to describe Buddy's impact on Lubbock, where would you start?
Where would I begin with that? I think what I'd like to remind, particularly the school groups of very young children that come through on tours here, they understand the humble beginnings that Buddy grew up in. And to be able to take that and a dream and a desire and hard work and reach the heights of international fame, to know that that's possible from a place like Lubbock, Texas, is very encouraging to young people. And not only that, his influence is felt here in this community, but way beyond our borders and across the oceans. Buddy was one of the first rock and roll artists to travel overseas. He made a tour to Australia in early 1958. In March of 1958, he spent nearly a whole month in the UK, performing sometimes twice a day, appearing on the BBC and at the London Palladium. Both of those venues were places that a very young Paul McCartney and John Lennon sat down and watched him perform on TV. Buddy was a big influence on the Beatles' early music. People like the Rolling Stones credit Buddy with much of their early inspiration. Graham Nash of the Hollies, who were named in honor of Buddy Holly, credit Buddy with inspiring their musical careers. You know, we come from such a diverse area here in Lubbock. I mean, you can trace back our musical roots earlier than Buddy and contemporary with Buddy. You know, we had Waylon Jennings here and Mac Davis and Tanya Tucker and Bob Wills, Bobby Keys from Slayton, Texas, a little town south of here, who played saxophone for a number of years with the Rolling Stones on tour. Virgil Johnson, who was an educator in this town after his rock and roll career. He was one of the early doo-wop singers with the Velvet. Then you evolve, and the music scene evolves, and you have people like the Flatlanders, Joe Ely, Butch Hancock, Jimmy Dale Gilmore, Terry Allen, Delbert McClinton, and the Maines brothers, to contemporary performers, Josh Abbott, William Clark Green, Natalie Maine, Amanda Shires. It's incredible that legacy started prior to Buddy. Buddy cemented it in an international sense, and it's just continued to grow and flourish.
Thank you, Jackie, so much for your time talking to us today.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I hope you get a chance to come by and visit us. There are many opportunities. I mean, we're open 6 days a week. There are many times when we are open free to the public, particularly on Buddy's birthday. Every year we have a large celebration to commemorate his birthday on September 7th. This coming up very soon, we will also be open on February 3rd, free to the public. That is a commemoration that we hold annually to mark the anniversary of his passing in the plane crash that not only took his life, but that of JP, the Big Bopper, Richardson, Ritchie Valens, and the pilot, Roger Peterson. So we have several commemorative events. We participate in a lot of community events. We open our doors quite frequently and welcome everyone who wants to come visit us.
And both the Buddy Holly Center and Silent Wings Museum offer such incredible experiences to the public. What do these museums need right now? How can us fans support you?
Just come see us. Come through our doors. It is why we are here. We are here to serve and to educate and to preserve and promote Buddy's legacy, his music, and other forms of art and music. And we exist for the visitors. But we offer membership if anyone is interested in contributing that way. We have a donation box. Visitors do pay a small admission fee when they come here to see the Buddy Holly collection. If visitors come for the Fine Arts Gallery, that is always free, and so there's no charge for that. But we also, we are on social media. We have a website where visitors can see current lists of exhibitions. We on social media. We do artifact spotlights just to give you a little glimpse of an artifact and some information about it. We also publish an e-newsletter. So if visitors leave us with their email address, we're happy to include them on that list, and they will receive a monthly newsletter from us through their email that tells them everything that we're doing and plan to do.
Well, I thank you once again for being here today. Thank you so much, Jackie.
You're very welcome, Jace.
And there you have it, our interview with the Buddy Holly Center out of Lubbock, Texas. I want to thank Jackie so much for sitting with us on this pilot episode. I hope you, the viewer, got to learn a little bit more about one of my biggest inspirations, Buddy Holly, because there truly was no one better. And one final time, I want to acknowledge, recognize, and pay the utmost respect to the 4 lives lost today, February 3rd, 1959. Today, think about them. Spin La Bamba or Peggy Sue or Chantilly Lace and have some fun. This has been Jace Sits. Next week, I'm going to be talking to the Jimmy Stewart Museum, and that will be a lot of fun. The wonderful life of Jimmy Stewart. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Be sure to subscribe, share. All the links are below, and this is a new thing. I hope you guys will see the next one.